Up, how are you all doing tonight? When you come in, say hey, let me know you're here, and if you're new, let us know where you're from. So, we have been working on this beautiful sampler quilt behind me, and tonight we're going to do a mystery block. I've got a great surprise for you guys in store tonight, and I really hope you're going to enjoy it. So, we'll give everybody a few minutes to come in. Say hey when you come in, let me know you're here. And I am Becky from Living the Dream Quilt Shop in Bridgeport, West Virginia. And all we will be using tonight for tonight's block is a rotary cutter, a ruler and mat, an iron to iron our seam, to press our seams, not iron them. And I have the most basic of all of our sewing machines, all of our Genomes. Whoa! And I just dropped the mic. Sorry. Knocked it right over. My cord wasn't reaching. Oh, the foot pedal was caught around it. I see. Is it on? There we go. I knocked the wire out of the microphone trying to get my machine set in place. Okay. I see we've got a couple in here. Say hey, let us know you're here. I hope you guys are having a great Friday evening. It's looked like rain all day, but I think the sun is finally coming out. And if you watch this today and it's your first time and you like what you see, you can find the other 6 blocks at Living the Dream Quilt Shop on YouTube. Just go to our channel, click on the lives, and you will see all of our lives, including the block of the week for the last 6 weeks. Tonight will show up there tomorrow. Also, I'm going to start giving away a few prizes for the last couple weeks. We have a 13-week stint with this block of the week sampler quilt. And if you go to the community page, if you click on our channel, you'll see community page. Once you've subscribed, you can actually start posting to that after 24 hours. Karen Work, if you're on here, let me know if Seth's gotten with you yet to help you get on there. If you have any problems getting on that, let me know. Post pictures of your blocks each week, and we're going to start giving away some really cute prizes for those that are participating with us. If you're just tuning in, make sure you say hey, and you're going to need your ruler. I've got an 8.5 inch, 9.5 inch square ruler here. I have rotary cutters, and you need 2 of your colors for your colorway. And you want them so they are they're not blending in together. You want something that's totally different so they'll really show up in this block. There's Miss Pepper Dinsmore. Hey, hey. And you girls be good today. I hear tell we might have a couple men getting on later, so no bad words about men tonight. Karen Bush, how we doing, sweetheart? I'm so sorry I missed you yesterday. I was having some troubles. All right, so it is 7:05. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Let me switch this camera over where you guys can see me and what I'm There we go. I got it. Seth, we need to check why when I go back and forth between cameras, every time I switch, I have to go down and hit the sound again. I didn't have to used to do that. All right, so these are the 6 blocks we've already done. This is the Road to California. Really pretty. We did it last week. Very easy block to do. And then our first week we did our basic 9 patch. And we have, let me see, I think it's 4 colorways, 1 background, and 1 border material. This is the 9 patch with a twist that we did in week 2. And then this one, I can't remember the names. I'm forgetting names. Anybody remember the name of this one? I'll give you an extra reward if you remember the name of this one. I don't remember. But that was week 3. And then we had the split rail fence. And this one, I think, was the Alaskan homestead. So, those are the 6 blocks we've done so far. Tonight, you're really going to get a treat. The reason, well, I'm not going to tell you. When we get all of our squares completed to get ready to put them together, I'm going to show you guys why I love this one so much. But, so you need 2 contrasting colors. So I know mine are going to show up really well with these 2. And what we need to do, because we're going to need 16 half square triangles, but all we need to cut is 4, 5 3/4 squares, or you can cut 4 6-inch squares out of each of your fabrics. So if you have it folded over, so you've got front and back, you can cut 2 squares at once with your ruler. So I'm going to cut, let me see how much room I've got on this. That's only 4. So I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to go ahead and cut, I'll cut 6-inch. And I need 4 of these. So I'm going to cut 2 at a time. And just to make sure I've got enough room for error, I'm cutting them out at 6 inches square. And for anybody that's new, or anybody, if you drop behind and you want to catch up before we go on, just tell me to slow down and we will catch up. Or you can go back and watch this later and hit the pause button. So there is 2 squares. So in the prior weeks, we have learned about half square triangles. And we learned how to cut a square, 2 squares, and turn that into 2 half square triangles. So tonight I'm going to show you how to turn 2 squares into 4 half square triangles. When you need to make a lot, it's really easy. You just need to be very careful because it will be on the bias, and we'll talk about that here in just a few minutes. Alright, so there is 4 of one of my colors. And now I'm going to cut 4 squares of this one. And now, you need to pay close attention when you're cutting. You can see that my back fabric is sticking out a little bit over my front fabric. There is Denise Myers. Hey, Denise. Sometimes it might be that your front fabric is sticking out a little over the back. So always check that. And I'm going to give myself a little bit of extra room here so I can get that squared up and even. with that overlap. Denise, where you been, girlfriend? I haven't seen you for a while. Did you get your car going? I know I hate it when I'm having car trouble because mechanics aren't cheap these days. There's Eve Prosser. Hey, Miss Eve. Eve, we are cutting out 4 6-inch triangles, or you can do 5 3/4 of 2 of our different fabrics. Tonight is a mystery block. I'm not telling anybody what it is till we get it done. And when we get it done, I'll tell you why I'm not telling anybody. So you'll learn a few secrets tonight. And if you come in, say, hey, let us know you're here. If you're new, let us know where you're from. We love having new people. So far, we've got a lot of locals on here. We've got one girl from Georgia on here. One of my Georgia peaches. And by the way, Eve, I checked that. She zeroed that out. She just, that invoice goes out automatically when we make one. So you'll be getting your prize from the live here in just a couple days. I've got it right there to go out when we get done here tonight. Okay, so I have 4 of each, and they are, I cut it 6 inches. You can cut it 5 1/2. That's perfectly fine. Fold that up and get my fabric out of the way. So how's everybody doing this week? Everybody good? I wish you guys could talk back. Oh, I've got a couple surprises here tonight. That's cool. Okay, let me see if I've got a pencil in this drawer while everybody's cutting. Yes, I do. Always handy to have a pack of pencils with you. Sharpened ones. And a little handy dandy ruler. You can use your square up ruler. And I might have to because this one isn't long enough. Yeah, I'll use my square up tonight. And I think that sun, is that sun bothering you guys? It is coming right directly at me. You guys let me know if that sun's bothering you, and I'll try to move this table around a little bit. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I am going to take one of each of my squares and flip it over on each other. And get them even with each other. And set them to the side. You can pin them. You can put clips in them. Just make it so. What did I do with my clip box? Oh, I set it over here. Just make it so that's not going to move on you. You just need 1 or 2 pins or 1 or 2 clips on it to make sure it'll stay for you. Normally, you would cut these at 5 1/2. The reason I had you cut them at 5 3/4 or 6, I know a few of you have had a little bit of trouble with that 1/4 inch seam and getting your blocks to come out right. So, I made these a little bit bigger so we would have plenty of wiggle room to get everything to come out. And by the way, I've seen some beautiful blocks. And if you're tuning in late, make sure to subscribe on YouTube and join our community channel, our community group. It's right off. If you go to Living the Dream Quilt Shop and hit view channel, I think, it'll come up community page. Post pictures of your blocks on the community page. We're going to start doing a few little giveaways for everybody that's participating to be in. And we want to see what everybody's doing. There are some beautiful quilts being made. I love looking at the different colorways for a single quilt block that we're all making. Some of you have used your own fabric. A couple of you came in and got the same fabric we were using here to make it a little bit easier on them. And flip these over. Now just make sure that you're putting them face to face with the backs out. I bet you that's that one I didn't square up. I need to remeasure this. I've got one really sticking out from the other. If you're a beginning quilter, math is really important in quilting. Yeah, I didn't go back and redo that. Math is very important when you're quilting. When you do a 1/4 inch, you need to try to make sure it's a 1/4 inch. When you do your cutting, you need to be as precise as possible. That way everything comes out even and all the points that need to meet will meet. Okay, so I have those together. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to move this machine over just a little bit. Oh, and knock the mic again. I hope that's not loud in your ears. Why is this mic giving me fits tonight? Oh, I can't get that out of there. Okay. There. The mic is just not wanting... Oh, I see what the problem is. The cord is caught. There we go. Cool. Got it. Everybody still hear me? Okay, so what I'm going to do, as soon as I find my foot pedal, it's not going to work. I'm going to unplug this mic for just a minute. See, Seth, now I'm doing it on purpose. Doggone it, and I still got it caught. If you're just joining in, this is also known as the Lucy Show. Something's always going to go wrong. Just like real life. Okay. Now I've got my foot pedal where it needs to be. Okay, so for anybody that's new, if you can see this side of my machine, let me pull this a little bit closer here. I have washi tape on my machine. And what I did was I took and measured from my needle when I put my needle down over 1/4 inch. And then I placed this washi tape straight down the edge. So I can feed my fabric right along the edge of that and keep that 1/4 inch. That's really important in tonight's blocks. Also, I've got a mark on my foot for 1/4 inch, but it's a lot easier when you've got a whole long line to follow that you can just feed straight through and get that good 1/4 inch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew down one side of my square 1/4 inch. Absolutely, Dottie, you know it. That's why you guys know and love me, right? Now, I'm at the edge of this first one. I can either sew 1/4 inch all the way around this block, or I can just feed each one through and then sew them all together. But I'm going to go ahead and sew 1/4 of an inch all the way around the block, all the way around the outer edge, making sure my block is squared up good and all the edges are meeting. Put my foot down. Alright, and on to the next block. So just keep going until you have all 4 of your blocks sewn all the way around. And if you have any questions along the way, feel free to ask. Don't be shy, don't be quiet. I've come to find that usually when one person has a question, there's several more that had the same question and didn't want to ask. And there are no stupid questions in quilting. Well, there might be. I might call Dottie, Pepper, Karen with a couple. I'm good at finding them. Alright, I boxed myself into a corner there, so I'm going to go ahead and cut my thread and go on to my 3rd one. Everybody following so far? Wonder where Karen Warwick is tonight. I see we've got quite a few on. Make sure you say hey when you come on. Let us know you're here. Nancy Salvetti, if you're on, I'm on the last row of your quilt. So I should have it done here in about an hour. And I might just call you and see if you want it dropped off tonight. And don't forget, tomorrow night will be our Sunday night social. And I think what I'm going to start doing, I can't do it this week, but Pepper had a great idea. We're going to do UFO nights on our social nights. So Sunday night socials, get those UFOs out and get them ready. Pick out which one you're wanting to get done first. This week, I have a UFO, but it's a customer's UFO. I am still working on that t-shirt quilt, and I'm starting to put the rows together. Or no, I'm still cutting them. I'm still squaring them up. So if you want to get some good information about a t-shirt quilt, join us tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, and we'll hang out for an hour or 2 hours, whatever everybody wants. And you can watch me work on a t-shirt quilt. And I think my bobbin, oh no, my bobbin ran out. All right, you girls have plenty of time to catch up. I got to load a bobbin real quick. Do you know, since we started this quilt, this is the first time this bobbin's ran out. cannot wait to show you guys all the different designs that you're going to be able to do with this block. It's crazy. And it's crazy easy too. Uh-oh. It's going underneath. Oh no. I told you guys this was the Lucy show. Holy cow. Hey, Lucy. I know that's got to make Seth proud every time his mom messes up. I'm not the perfect quilter, I'm the pampered quilter. So I was telling Sandy Wilmot today, Sandy actually, Sandy, I'm telling on you if you're on here. Sandy last week, she said, Becky, I messed up the road to California and I don't know how. And she sent it to me, and she had sewed the bottom row upside down. And I was telling her I was working on a t-shirt quilt one time, and I was really tired. I was trying to get it done. I got to the last row, and I sewed the bottom row of t-shirts upside down. So I had to rip them all out and re-sew them, and I did. And I opened it up, and it was still upside down. And that's not the best part. I ripped it all out, pulled all the strings out, sewed it back together, and I went to bed when I opened it up because that was the third time I sewed the bottom row upside down. So when you get to making that many mistakes, it's time for a nap. Anybody else ever had that happen? Any funny stories about something you've done? So it's pretty perfect. One bobbin did half of our rows, or half of our blocks. So that's a pretty good gauge. I might need another bobbin and a half to finish this quilt. Alrighty, put my bobbin in. Everybody catching up with me? And just let me know if there's any questions. Just type it right in. I've seen a lot of people lately are working on their sewing rooms. I'm working on 3 at one time. That's a lot of fun. Alrighty. And make sure my washi tape is straight now. Following right under that line. Okay. Back on to sewing. We're sewing all 4 sides 1/4 inch to the outside. Oh, I got that upside down. There we go. And I'm just going about 1/4 inch away. And you can always tell when you go to flip it back over, flip it to the side, how far away you are. And if you're too far out, you need to go ahead and go back and sew a little bit more across. You want this really close to that 1/4 inch, as close as you can get it for this to work well. Oh, and you need your fit. I am live now, Kim Jeffries, and I'm sorry I missed you today too. Kim was nice enough to bring in a huge stack of quilting magazines and books. So if anybody wants to check them out, they're totally free. Come in and pick some up and make something pretty. And Kim, thank you for that very generous donation. I'm sure they're going to get a lot of good use. Yes, we did have a good talk. Okay, I have all 4 of my squares sewn all the way around, 1/4 inch. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pick the lightest side. I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to draw 2 lines across it from corner to corner. And I'm going to make sure when I put my ruler down, this is what you have to watch. If you put your ruler right on that corner point right there, if you put the ruler right on it, when you go to mark your line, your mark is going to be a little bit to the right of it. You need to make sure when you lay that ruler down and go from corner to corner, take whatever your marking tool is and set it down on that corner and then push your ruler against it. That way you know you are getting right at the center of that. And then mark your line. And this is not going to show up in your quilt. You can even use a pen if you want. It's not going to show up because we're about to cut that line. And then you're going to turn it sideways and do the other corner to corner. And once again, set your marking tool and make sure your marking tool is hitting right on that point. So you're getting that perfect line. That's going to make 8. My brain just went into a fog. They might have, Kim. They might have. Okay, so now I'm going to put my ruler down so I don't mess up. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to cut that line. And I'm kind of in a brain fog now, so I need to check something out real quick. Let's see. And then I'm going to cut that line. That is going to, yes, okay, I'm right. Whew, scared me for a minute. You ever think you're doing something wrong? It just doesn't look right to you? Something just wasn't looking right. Okay. So now, from that one square where I sewed all the way around the edge, I now have 4 half square triangles. And, yes, they are plenty big enough. Yay! So we're going to do that to all 4 of these squares because we need 16 tonight. I'm going to move my machine back out of the way so I can take care of this and then press, not iron, press them. Today is definitely a day for the word press. And I'll show you why here in just a minute. So I'm going to go ahead and mark all 3 of these. Putting my pencil right on the point and making the ruler go up against it. And then turning it sideways so we have a big X on our square. Everybody doing okay with this? Just so you guys know, I take it from the quietness, everybody's okay. I'm assuming if somebody's having trouble, they're going to ask a question. Or say, wait, stop, what are you doing? And feel free to do that. That's what we're here for. Also, the community page is a great place to ask questions. And I did not know this, so anybody that has missed maybe 1 or 2 of the times I've mentioned this on different lives, when you go to the videos, in order to see any of the lives, the live block of the weeks, the live sales, you have to hit on live to see that list. Seth is going to turn these block of the weeks into tutorials, which will be on the videos, but right now they're all listed under the lives. I haven't got the chance to look, Kim, but you know I'm looking through them. I might see something in there I just gotta have. One of those have-to-have moments. And the good thing is we gave ourselves wiggle room. On one of these, I just came a little bit above that line. But it's okay because I had so much wiggle room in this one. I made it big enough that we're going to be squaring that up and it'll be fine. And I have one more cut. How's everybody doing out there? Anybody following along, or is everybody just watching tonight? All right, so if we have any new quilters out there, let's see. Let me find I'll do this. Okay, so you'll hear a lot about bias, on the bias. And when I started quilting, I had no clue what on the bias meant. And I was afraid to ask anybody. So here is a piece of material. This is, why do I always think of Karen Bush when I do this? This is the selvage. This is the edge that goes across the bottom of all fabric. It's folded over, and down at the bottom is the selvage where you have your front and your back pieces. And this is the length of fabric from selvage up and over to the other side. Is the width of fabric. And then you have the length. Yeah, this way is length, width, this way is length. This way is width, this way is length. Holy cow. And I have not drank a drop. So when you try to stretch this, I'm going to hold this up. Let me hold it to this camera. You might be able to see better. When I try to stretch this, I don't have hardly any give. There's not a lot of give there. If I turn it this way and stretch it, I have a tiny bit, not very much. Now, I'm going to fold this down like a triangle, And when I stretch, do you see how far that's pulling? That is on the bias. So, when we cut these triangles, I want you all to realize when we iron them, and you're going to see me press them in just a minute, these are on the bias. So, each of these sides are on the bias. So, they stretch. So, when you iron them, you don't want to push the iron across them because you'll warp your fabric. You want to press it. So let me show you guys this. We have something new tonight. Pepperoo. I sold one. I sold it to Living the Dream. Look at this. Miss Pepper Dinsmore makes these lovely, lovely ironing boards that are so great to take to class, take anywhere, take to retreat, take to your camp, anywhere you want to go. You can take this to iron on. I love these, and because it had these beautiful scissors, I had to buy one today. They're $45. Now, if you live far away and I need to ship to you, I will have to charge extra for shipping because they're a little bit heavy. They put these lovely feet on them so they don't scratch. They sit up a little bit. Nice board on the back. They're not really heavy, but they're very sturdy and very padded. And she does a great job on these. So if you would like your own, I will be showing these on the live Thursday night. Okay, so we should have 16 of our half square triangles here, and I'm going to press, not iron. So I'm going to press to my darker side, and I think I've shown you guys before. I'm going to take the iron, move these over here, and if you want to, you can even use your fingers to press it first. I'm going to fold that back and push that over to the sides. And then I'm just going to press and just slightly bump that fabric so I know that it's not gathering here and creating a lump. So I'm just going to press it like that toward the darker side. And for me, instead of laying it down like that, it's easier for me to hold the darker side up, set the iron to the side of that seam, and then just slightly bump. And that way I know that my seam is on the right side. And you'll notice I'm pressing. You don't want to do this. You just want to slightly press, pick up, move on. If Sue Henderson's on here, Sue, I'm getting better with the press word. I like to say iron all the time. When you're piecing quilts together, you don't want to iron, you want to press. So you don't wonk your fabric. And we are about to get to a really fun part of this video. Seth, are you on here? Because I have a question for Seth, if he is on here. And I don't know if anybody answered my question. Is there anybody that is sewing along with us tonight instead of just watching? If there is, say me so I know how many people are doing this along with me. I want to make sure that I give you time to keep up with me, and I've got something I can do to actually help this video tonight while you are catching up. But if nobody is doing that, I'll figure out another way to do it, so I don't hold people up that are just tuning in to watch. Seth must not be on with us. Either that or everybody left me. And I know if you're watching me from YouTube, it's hard to answer me if you're watching me on your TV. And I guess if you're sewing along with me, it's kind of hard to answer too, isn't it? Alright, I am almost down to my last two. And then we're going to square these up. Now, I will tell you guys, so when I started this block of the week, it was to show beginners how easy it is to do all of these beautiful blocks you see behind me and more. These, the 9 patch, of course, I would have done from the beginning, but a lot of these, like Card Trick, the Crystal Star, I would have never tried when I first started quilting because it looks too hard. So the reason I picked these blocks, most of them, are because they're very easy blocks to do, and I want beginners to see how truly easy it is to do these so they're not afraid to try. Okay, I've got those done. And you don't need a lot to do it. Now, I will tell you, there are rulers out there. There is a half square triangle ruler that you actually square it up before you press the side over. And it's way easy to use. So, in another block of the week session that we do in another quilt sampler, I will show different rulers. But for right now, I just want everybody knowing there are other rulers out there to use, but I'm just wanting everybody to know all you need is a basic ruler and you can do this. Okay, so we're going to square these to 3.5. And I can't wait for you guys to see what your mystery blocks are going to look like. And they might all look different. Who knows? They might all look very different. This is a good one. So do we have any guys on here tonight? I heard tell a few guys might be stopping in to say hey. I didn't know if they made it or not. If they did, they may not know how to say hey on here. But if you were out there, Ronnie and Cecil, hey. Cecil's hanging out with his best friend Ronnie tonight. Up in Ohio. We'll turn Ronnie into a quilter yet. He is a good cook. This is the longest part of the whole show, is squaring half square triangles up. I think I like the cutting part better than I do the squaring up. I think that'll be next week's question for the drawings on the live. What is your favorite part of making a quilt? That's a good one. You won't see squaring up as my answer. And when you're squaring up, make sure, like I've got a little bit around each edge here, you want to make sure that your 3.5 lines on these two sides are within that block. You don't want to come off and be short. And for those of you that didn't see the other videos, down your square up ruler, there should be a line going straight across the middle. And that is what I'm putting across this line here to make sure I am getting this dead center when I square it up. And you can always tell if that line going across there doesn't follow your seam line, if it's kind of wonking in and out, you can always tell that you're not keeping that perfect 1/4 inch when you're sewing. So that's one good indicator that maybe you're sewing too fast, or you don't have something marking your line to keep you in that line. Finishing it? All right, Eve. Are you ahead of me, Eve? Or is that your favorite part, finishing it? I got you. Eve, I always get a little disappointed when I finish it. I love sewing it, and a lot of times I used to rush through it, but I think sewing is my piecing is my favorite part of it. And now that I have the what is it? Extra large stripology ruler. I love cutting now. But squaring up is not my thing. I used to hate to iron. I don't mind or press. I don't mind pressing anymore. And I don't mind ironing the quilt tops like I used to. But yeah, squaring up, especially if you're doing a lot of little triangles or little squares, that just drives me crazy. And when you flip it around, it's the same thing. Make sure that line is going right up the side of that. Oh, little piece. I am almost done here. I'm getting there. And then I can give you guys a stretch break real quick. Drink of my water. If you're coming in late, make sure you go to the community page when you get your square done and post a picture of it. If you haven't already subscribed to YouTube, hit that subscribe button. And I think they make you wait 24 hours before you can post to the community page. But we will be having some giveaways for people that are posting their squares and doing this along with us. that's kind of my thank you for you guys hanging out with me and enjoying the process. Did Seth ever come on? I don't think he ever answered, did he? Seth, are you out there? I have a question. I would like to show them a few things on my computer screen, Seth, and I don't know if there is a way to share my screen with them while I'm live. So you let me know. Some really quiet ones tonight. Nobody's talking. Holy cow. You guys are going to make me go to sleep while I'm cutting with a rotary cutter. If Sarah Davis is out there. All right, last one. Or no. See, I've got one over here to the side I didn't see. One more that I need to press. Let's see, make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yep, one more. 16 half square triangles. So if you missed it before, I don't wonk that out. And I don't know if you guys can see all the blocks in the quilt behind me and guess which one we might be doing tonight. Tonight is the mystery block. And you're going to see why I call it the mystery block here in just a minute. Okay, so I don't see Seth on to answer my question. Let's see. So while you guys are catching up with me, I'm going to try to do something here on the computer real quick to show you guys something really special. Let's see. And hopefully I don't go out of your line of view while I'm doing this. Okay. See if I can print all these out. And if you guys are out there just hanging out, you can take a break real quick. If you're catching up, take your time. I'll just be another minute or two. Let's see, why is that out? You guys still with me? Let me see. That does not say, okay. It does not say that I'm streaming with you guys. Are you guys, let me know if you guys are still there. Facebook and YouTube. Let me know if you guys are still there. Okay. I'm going to move this around a little bit so I can see what I want to show you all. Okay. All right, Pepper's still with me. Eve's still with me. It's saying, it says streaming on YouTube, but I can see Facebook still with me. Okay, good deal. I'm getting some kind of a weird message here when I tried to go online. All right, does anybody need me to hold up for anything? Because I am more than willing to hold up for a few more minutes while you guys get caught up with me, because I want you guys to see this before we start sewing our blocks together. Anybody need to wait? Take one more sip of water. Okay, this is everybody's your quilt. Whoever is making this quilt at their home, walking along with us, that is your quilt. You get to make it any way you want, any color way you want. But the great thing about tonight's block is there are so many varieties of what you can make this block. So first I'm going to show you the block that I have in the quilt behind me. I don't know if you can actually see all of it, but let me bring this up so I can see. There's so many ways to do this. Okay. See if I can shorten that screen. There we go. Okay, so the first, no, that's not it. Doggone it. Where did it go? You guys aren't going to believe all the different ways to do these. There it is. Yeah, that's the one. Okay. No, that's not it. Well, I guess we're going to do a different block tonight. Okay. Alright, so there are so many different ways to do these blocks. So I'm going to show you guys a couple of them. So the first one, and if you like if you've never done the bear's claw and you want to do the bear's claw, you'll see that this kind of reminds me of the bear's claw. So we're just going to take these 16 and we're going to lay them all the same direction. And this always makes me think of the bear's claw. Okay, so look at that. Doesn't that make a really cute block? And all we did was sew around the sides of a square and cut those squares in half. And look at what we made. But there's loads more. Let me go to the next one. Alright. So I can flip a couple of these around. And look at that. Isn't that a great one? I love this. Love the way it looks. And once you get it sewn together, it just looks so perfect. So that's another great one. Now let me look up here. Okay. Now, the one I have in my quilt up here is, I'm going to turn this one around and this one around. And then we're going to make these go, yeah, that way and this way. And then these go this way and this way. And there's two different variations of this block too. That way. You can either do this, or I like it better this way. And this is Crystal Star. That's the one I'm, sorry. That's the one I'm going to do. And I think we have one more for me to show tonight. Yes. Sorry. We can do and now this whole time, so far we're in week 7. Every block that I've done with you all, I have found free online. So you can go to the quilt shop, you can come to my quilt shop, and there's always beautiful patterns for sale. And the patterns are very unique, but you can also make beautiful quilts with free patterns, which is what I want every new beginner to realize, because I didn't know. I didn't even know I could quilt, actually, and was afraid to even try. And I'm so glad that I did. But I want people to know you can Google free beginner quilt patterns or just free quilt patterns. These patterns you're seeing here today are from, let's see, what is the name of this site? Fabric 406. Fabric406.com. They have free patterns online, and they're amazing. They have great patterns. So make sure you check out sites like that, and I will post that in the description later tonight. Fabric406.com. And they have great patterns. Now this is 4 pinwheels. If you can see, these are 4 separate pinwheels. So that's another pattern you can do with this. Now there is also, I didn't cut the square out for it. Let me see if I've got some squares here real quick. I'll go ahead and do the middle. You can do another star with this. See if I got that picture up. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to take out the 4 corners. If you have 4 solid squares of one of these colors, you can do this star. And I mean, we are making all of these squares just by flipping these pieces around in a different direction. That is what is just so amazing to me. So then I could take 4 of this middle print and put in each of the edges, and I would have a beautiful star pattern from that. So see how cool these all look? I just love it, and that's why I called tonight's a mystery pattern. That way, you can use the pinwheels. You can do any of these designs you want for tonight and turn them around. Make your own pattern and see what you can come up with. And when you go to put the picture on the community page, we are going to pick somebody special. We're going to vote. So everybody gets a vote. And you get to vote on your favorite block that somebody made, be it the color wave, be it the way they arranged it, or just because you just like the looks of it. So everybody can go on this week and vote. And next week, when we do our block of the month for week 8, we're going to choose the winner and tell you who the winner is, and you'll be sent out a nice surprise. So let me turn this back around to how I'm going to sew it tonight. I'm going to make the crystal star. And you guys can decide which colorway or which pattern style you're going to use tonight. There's Seth. Thank you, honey. And hopefully this will get you guys learning to, I'm going the wrong way with that, turn things around and try different things. Let's see, that goes across. And this, does that, yeah, okay, I'm going the right way. Kind of like putting a puzzle together, right? All right, so there is what mine is going to look like this week. And I'm going to do the same thing I do every week. So you guys, if you start getting lost when you're putting your blocks together, like Sandy sewed her last row upside down, you want to make sure that you're laying it out in front of you. And then what you want to do is you want to make sure, like I always start from the right hand side. I take the very last top corner, flip it over onto the one next to it on the left, and then I'm going to match it up so it's equal all the way around. And I know this is the side I'm sewing on. Put this up just a little so you can see me. And I'm going to start sewing down that side. Now I'm going to only do one row at a time. And since I have 4 here, now I'm going to take this one and flip it over to the left. And I'm going to hold the side I want to sew and make sure all of them are even, all the sides are even. And I'm going to go ahead and press those two. Just bump that a little bit. Bump this one a little bit. And then I'm going to lay that back out so I know which direction I'm going. Let's see. This goes here. This one goes here. Everything still looks right. So I'm going to start on the second row, far right over to the one next to it. Oh, picked up that one too. Where I get lost at sometimes is when I pick them up, instead of holding on to the side I need to sew, when I pick them up, I'll think I'm sewing across the top line and turn it sideways. So if you ever get confused, before you go on and try to sew, open it up, look at it, make sure. It's better to think twice than to rip and sew twice. Right, Karen Bush? Pepper, these boards really do come in handy. This is really nice. I didn't have to move that big sewing area over here tonight. And I know I've got one downstairs, but it's for downstairs. I had to buy one, Pepper, I had to. Okay, let's see. That one goes there. This one goes here. All right, far right, over onto the next one over. Everybody up with me? Are you understanding? Is everything making sense to you? Don't be afraid to tell me no. I can't believe Elaine and Carol aren't on here. They must still be out to dinner. And Karen Warwick, I'm really missing her, but it is a different night. It's Saturday night. Maybe they're all out partying. Okay, that one goes there. And this one goes there. Everything's still matching up good. My pattern is still tracking. Get this last one here. Nope. There. And there. Okay, so far so good. Now that I have these done, I'm going to take the far right one again, fold it over onto the left. Sew those two together. And now, you will notice when you're sewing these two together, I have two seams coming right up the side that are going to meet up here. So I'm going to slide this over. It was over here like this. You can see the difference there. I'm going to slide that over, walk it up, and make sure my seams meet at the top. And if anybody has any questions about that, say hey, so I know you got a question. I'm going to do the same thing for row 2. Flip it over, and we've got that seam coming right up through there. I want it to match. I'm going to walk that right up with my thumb. And you can feel them sitting there with each other. No. That way. No. There we go. That way. Okay. Third row, flip those over. Walk the seams up. And now, before I taught you the nesting, where one is facing one way on one side and the other's facing the other way on this side, so you can actually feel them sit together. Now, if I have them both the same way, I can actually feel where they're sitting, and that's okay with me. But if you don't like that, go ahead and iron one of these to the other side so you can feel that nest in there. And that way your points will come out better. row 3 and one more row. How we doing out there? Everybody good? Missing Angie Stevenson. She must be having too much fun in Montana. We can't let her go out there anymore. If she's going to have that much fun, she can't go. Alright, I'm going to stack these rows. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can have room to press them. You might have plenty of room in the area you're sitting in. But I need a little bit more room. It's a little bumpy for my taste. Okie dokie. Now, lay this back out again. Okay, now we're going to sew our rows together. So, we are going to flip number 1 over onto row 2. And when I pick this up, I know that I've got a 1/4 inch here that needs to meet. So, I'm going to nest my seam together there. And I'm going to take one of my flat-headed pins and I'm going to put right through the point where that X is. See where the X crosses? Right there is where I want my needle in my sewing machine to sew through to make that point. In the middle, I've got a point on the other side right here. I want that to meet. I don't have a point on this one. So I'm going to take my flat-headed pin and flip this over for a minute. It doesn't matter which way you sew it. And right where that X is, and you might have to move your material, and there it is. There's that X. You might have to move your seam over. I'm going to put that right through there. And make sure on the back side I'm coming right up at that seam. Oh, you're all right, Karen. We were just talking about you. Who are you visiting with, girlfriend? All right, and then on the third one, there's that X again on both sides. So I want to have my needle come through this X. And then I'm going to open this up and, oh, my seam's a little over there and right through there. And make sure those seams are fitting together good. Okay, so I've got that row pinned. I'm going to go ahead and pin row 3 and 4 while we're at it. So I can just go ahead and sew them together. So right there's my X on the front side. I'm going to pin that. And then I've got the point on the back side, if you can see it right here, that I want to get. So I kind of separate them, pin through the point on that X, the middle of that X. Darn, that pin is not sharp at all. And then right through that point. nest the seams up together. And if you're local, well, even if you're not local, if you cannot get the hang of nesting these seams, feel free to come by, call me, we can FaceTime, and I'll help you get these seams together, because once you get this down, you can do anything. It took me forever. My points never met up. I was so upset. But practice, 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 and a few good tips will have you quilting in no time and getting those points spot on. Or have friends like Dottie and Pepper to help, because they are so good at getting those points. Karen Bush is great at getting those points. I mean, just ask for help, and I've never seen a quilter that wouldn't help. Okay. Any questions so far? Karen, you are 2 blocks behind? What? You slacker. Slacker. Karen, it's pretty sad if I'm ahead. Okay, so let's get these 2 rows sewn and see what it looks like. Did my... No. I thought my needle came unthreaded. Oh. So I wanted to say, for those of you that haven't been with us on one of these before, I always take a pencil and put a little dot right where that needle's going in in the middle of the X. That way, and I'll show it to you here in a second. That way, when I have to pull the needle out to send it under the foot, I can still see real good. Now, if you have good eyesight, you don't need to mark that X. If your eyesight is getting older, like mine, mark that X where you can definitely see it. I hold on to it with my fingernail to hold the nested seams together until they get under the foot. And then I make sure that that needle's going right through the center. It just helps me so much more to mark that and be able to see it. And I'm going to go ahead and mark these. Doesn't matter how you mark them. Well, don't do it with a permanent marker, but it doesn't matter how dark your pencil line is. You can take that pencil out, but if it's right on the seam, you're not going to see it. There is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 sewn together. So we have 1 more row to sew together. I'm going to open these up and see how they look. Before I press them, I might have to take them apart. But look here. So over here on this side, I've got about 1/4 of an inch. So when I sew the other block on, it's going to make a point right there. That point looks really good. Look at all those. This point looks really good. And that point looks really good. Yay! Yay, yay, yay. Now let me open up the next one and take a look. Got about 1/4 inch there. 1/4 inch on this side. Well, it's a little tad bit short of 1/4 inch, but I can make that work. Those points look really good there. They're all meeting right in the middle. That looks good there. Now, you'll notice on here, this one is just a tad bit low. See how it kind of looks a little bit higher on the left? But I'm not going to worry about that one. Now look there. This point meets right there at the center, but this point is a little off. I'm going to rip that out. And I'm going to rip all the way back to over here where that point's a little bit higher. Because I'm a little bit off there, which has made me a lot off over here. So I'm going to rip that back. If I can find what I did with my seam ripper today. Let's see, I was showing Carol in a lamp. Oh, something. Yep. When you hear the seam ripper is your friend, it really is. Sometimes we don't have a nice thing to say about it, but it does keep our quilts looking good, and it's a big help when we need it to rip those seams out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the first couple of these out. I used to sit here and tear them out one by one. I'm going to take a couple out. If I can get this under there, there we go. Just take the first 3 or 4 out. And Dottie and Sarah showed me this nifty little trick. I'm going to open that up. And I'm going to put my seam ripper in there and hold that. I'm just going to go down through and pull. I don't know if you can, it's hard to show on camera. So slide that in there like that. Hold the 2 seams together. And pull that right through there. And you got to make sure that the seam ripper isn't coming through your fabric. When you get to a nested seam, you might have to take a stitch or 2 out to get it going again. There we go. And I'm going all the way back to just past the middle of the entire row. There we go. Okay. And once again, I'm going to pin right at that X. And I don't think the problem was in the pinning. I think the problem was in me watching and making sure that right where I had it marked was what went under the needle. And then repin these 2. And it may be because that one's a little high. If you look here, if you look at this side, you can see I clearly have space between this top and this this tip here to mark my 1/4 inch. On this side, it goes right up to that seam. So actually, I had a problem when I sewed the line up through there. So it still may not work perfect. But I'm not going to take the time to rip that whole side out. I can live with a tiny mistake if you guys can. Alright, so let me re-sew this. Sewn. All right. That still looks a little off, and so does that. I think it's because I had that in too high. The where the X should be, I don't know if you can see this. Let me see. This is just the line across. Where that X should have been is actually right up there, right next to my fabric. It's too close for me to catch that point. So my quilt is going to be just a tad bit off there. Now, my grandma used to tell me, if you have a quilt that doesn't have a mistake in it, people have nightmares under it. So, here's my theory. Nobody's going to have a nightmare under this one. Right? Oh, Angie Stevenson's behind also. I don't believe it. There is Miss Montana speaking up. How's Montana, Ange? I know Marie is missing you. All right, now I'm going to press this one. You're going to love this block, Angie. You can do so much with it. And the cool thing is there's so many different things. Make sure you go to 405 Fabric and see the different things you can make with this. Because there's more versions than what I showed you. You just need a couple... I mean, look at that right there. You just need a couple different, wonder what it'll do if we do it this way. Look at that. Hey, hey. I might use this block this time. Look at that. See what I mean? You guys need to make... You're on your way back, Kenyon? All right, baby. You guys just need to... turn it into what you want, and we'll do that drawing. But I'm definitely, look at that. I did that by accident. I made my own block. I'm going to use this in my quilt. So let's flip that over. Who knew? Who knew? So Karen Bush, I'm going to have to call you later and tell you about Kenyon's birthday gift. He got him Mommy got him a 1965 Ford F-350 that was due for the graveyard. But Kenyon gets to fix it up, take a sledgehammer to it, do whatever he wants. And I've already offered him 10 grand if he gets it fixed up. Because if Regina Myers is on here, Regina, you're going to die when you see this truck. It will look good fixed up. I drive it, and it's a standard. But Kenyon's told me no, Karen. He has told me I'm not allowed. But Kenyon is the very brand new owner of a 1960... He has been begging for a square body. Square body. He's loving it. And I think all the girls at the quilt shop are pulling for you, Kenyon. They're all wanting you to pull up one day at the quilt shop and take them all for a ride. Okay, let me sew this baby together. I'm really happy with this. That is a good looking quilt block. And now, any of these quilt blocks we've been working on, you could do an entire quilt out of them. And you can turn them different ways, make different patterns, do whatever you want. This is your masterpiece. There's no rules, no rhyme or reason. It's just like Kenyon working on his new truck. It's yours. You can do with it as you want. I don't know why I took that out so early, but okay. Well, I hope I didn't steal anybody's idea for the drawing. Oh, he has an 85? All right. We would have got a Chevy, but they didn't have a Chevy. We went to an auction and picked this baby up, and it's beautiful. All right, so let me press this middle open. Now, you guys are not allowed to point out the mistake. I see it already. And you might want to, because like it's really thick where some of these points are meeting, you might want to open that middle seam up to kind of give it less thickness where the points are coming together. So I'm going to iron this open. It's not going to do anything for my points not meeting, but I will help the long armor, aka Becky, when she's long arming, because that middle point is meeting about 8 pieces and it is thick. And when that needle from the long arm hits that, it causes a little bump. How's everybody doing? Do I have any questions for tonight? Yeah, have him drive you up in it. Call me and make sure Kenyon's home. He'd probably like to see it too. Okie dokie. There it is in all her glory. What do you think? Uh-oh. Look here, I just noticed something. Oh my, what did I do? Holy cow. No wonder that wasn't meeting. I wasn't going to fix that, but I guess I am. Wow. Apparently, yeah, I got to fix that. That was not meat. No wonder those are off. Rah. Okay, I told you. The seam ripper is your friend. Where is it? I do not see it. Okay, well, I guess I'm not going to rip it tonight. I've lost my seam ripper. Okay, so if you're out there, make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Join the community group under View Channel. Share your picture of your block. Change it around. Do whatever you want. Make the crystal star that we put in the other quilt. Put it online. And I want everybody to keep checking that community page during the week and vote. I will, you can just vote the person's name, right? Type the person's name. That way we know who you're voting for. And you can even type, Seth, what can they type? Vote and the name. That way we know whose block you're voting for. And we will have our winner next week before we start block 8, block of the week. So, you guys, I hope you're out there living your dreams. Thank you for helping me live mine. I will see you all tomorrow evening for the social. Should be starting about 7 o'clock. And I'll see you Thursday night. Thursday night. It's not the 1st, is it yet? Let me check the date. I think it's end of month, end of bolt sale. Yeah, Thursday night is April 30th, end of month, end of bolt. Join me. We will be having a sale on lots of good fabric. So I will see you all then. Love and hugs, everybody. If you have any questions about the blocks, give me a call, post on the website. If you're watching it after the live, make sure you look in the live videos and then switch over to live comments to see all of tonight's comments. Otherwise, you'll just see posts that people put after the live. Okay, have a great night, everybody. Thanks for joining me.